I mean, you need to read the vocabulary. You have to understand and remember the vocabulary, which will be coming in the type of match the following in the final examination. Understanding non-verbal data and advertisements have been done many days ago. In module 2, opportunities for youth, the magical earth, and the pari game, followed by letter writing has been done. Alhamdulillah. Module 3, to serve with love, Polonius advice to his son. My elder brother has not been done. Filling in forms, resume, and job advertising. This has been done as you um, uh, I think in the previous ones we have seen this. So today we will go ahead with a module 4, polluting the world, footprints in the sand, the awakening. Let's see whether the in the final examination they will include on it. But my first 3 modules, definitely, if it is if the pandemic goes in the same way, then they may give a certain discount in that particular content. Okay, so we will see 130, page number 130, my elder brother. It's an interesting story which is written in Hindi and translated in English, but the correct translation has not been done better, so we have to go through with that part of the translated by certain persons of our great Telangana. Let's see, my elder brother on page number 130, please. I want you to go to the page number 130, my elder brother. I think someone. My elder brother, written by Prem Chand. It's an interesting one where continuously what we will be going to learn is nothing but students or the children have been continuously nagging by their elders in order to read and read and read, and this has become a style, a culture, a tradition of today's societal parenting aspirations, that they want their children to study from since morning to evening, and it has been followed into certain areas, or it might not have been followed effectively in certain houses, and 0% have been followed in some. Let's see. Module 3, Unit 11, My Elder Brother, written by Prem Chand. The pre-reading, let's see the pre-reading. What is the overview? How would you feel if your elder brother or sister constantly kept nagging you? That is, constantly kept is an error there in the grammatic way. Constantly keep nagging you to study. How would it be if, how would you feel if your elder brother or elder sister, we could take elders likewise, okay, elders constantly keep nagging, constantly go after you in order to study? Would you be resentful? Do you think students should spend all their time on studies? Do you think that students should spend all their time on studies? When this pandemic affected this world, what happened? The education system has been changed, and in that perspective, what the source, what we are connected, likewise the online classes rather with the offline. Inshallah, we will be starting from Monday or Tuesday or in the next week or the coming of week, we don't know that, but the online system of education which has been started and practiced so far has affected the psychology of a student to a certain extent, that started the students, I mean not all, the student started pretending as well, pretexting. Why they are pretending and why they are pretending? They are pretending and they are pretexting because parents, they want their child, parents, they want their child to read and to study. And in that perspective, some students, they say that, sir, we have been sitting in front of the mobile phones or the laptops or the computers, and still yet we are unable to understand because There might be many reasons. One of the reasons are that the teachers are not trained how to teach online. No other teacher on the platform, on the face of this earth, have been trained official courses that I'm talking about to how to teach online classes. Okay, they might have studied many things. They might have updated themselves, their teaching methodology, the teaching styles, in order to make the student understand better. Not keeping themselves in front of them, but teaching offline and online has a difference between east to west. So in that perspective, students, they pretend and they pretext, pretending as well as pretending that they are studying. And because of one of the reasons that the elders are constantly keep nagging or keeping nagged in order to study. And do you think students should spend all their time on studies? Do you think students should spend all their time on studies? I think the answer could be yes or no. Let's let us take that thing in a different discussion. Or should they also be encouraged to spend time with friends and participate in sports? Remember, when we were reading Dancing in the Rain at the time, Azim Primji, the author of that particular lesson, says that students have been robbed by their childhood. I mean, children's childhood has been robbed by forcing them to study and no time to play. In the same way, in the pre-reading, what we see here, should students also be encouraged to spend time with friends and participate in sports? That's also a very important aspect. Here is the story of two brothers, each with a different approach towards studies. Here we are going to read about two brothers who have got different approach towards studies. Which of them does better in academics? Which of them does better performance in academics? We need to see that. So elder and younger brother, we are going to discuss today. Read about the writer. Munshi Premchand, 1880 to 1936, is regarded as the emperor of Hindi novelist. Yes, he was regarded as the emperor. He was a very famous writer, particularly in Hindi. The novelist means he used to write novels, stories, or thought-provoking stories he used to write. Though named the Dhanapat Rai, king of wealth, he was known as Dhanapat Rai. All through his life, he faced financial turmoil. All through his life, he underwent many difficulties regarding the finance. He had his primary education at a madrasa, where he learned Urdu and Persian. So he, in the primary level, he went to madrasa and he learned Urdu and Persian. Likewise, when he was just 8, his mother died. That's a drastic one. He felt isolated and sought solace in books. So when his mother died at the age of 8, he felt solace. I mean, alone and aloof, isolated. No one used to look after him, and so he started reading books, and he was isolated and solace in the books. I mean, he feel very comfortable with the books. He started working as a seller of books, but later settled down as a teacher. So he started selling books, but later on he settled as a teacher. Considered the greatest writer in Hindi, his works include a dozen novels, about 250 short stories, several essays, and many translations. So that was the short introduction of Premchand, who is considered as an emperor of Hindi novelist, and he is named as Dhanpat Rai, the king of wealth. At the age, at the very tender age, at the age of 8, his mother died, so he was isolated and found solace in books. And he was got his primary education in madrasa, and he started selling books, and later he settled down as a teacher. And he has many novels, a dozen novels, and 250 short stories, followed by several essays and many translations. That was the short introduction of Premchand. So let's see about the story, and then we will go ahead, inshallah. My elder brother, originally written in Hindi as Bade Bhai Sahab, is a light-hearted comic tale. You might have read this in the Hindi class. Bade Bhai Sahab. Most of the students, I mean, when they were in SSC at the 8th or 9th, I don't know, but they might have read this Bade Bhai Sahab. With its gentle humor and subtle irony, the story appeals to all. It satirizes the lapses in the education system. It says the lapses in the difficulties, the dark side. We have many dark side lapses in our education system. We are following the old education system. What is happening here? We have 19th century content, and we have 19th century arts of teaching, style of teaching. And we have a 20th century syllabus, which has been designed by looking after this. And to your wondering, we are teaching to the 20th century students. क्या हो रहा 19वीं सदी का कंटेंट और 19वीं सदी के style of teaching, and sitting in front of the students are sitting in front of the boards, no practical things, nothing. 20th century syllabus, the design of that arts, I mean, the way of teaching, the methodologies of teaching, keeping in that in mind, and the content, the education system, they made the syllabus for the students of what? Of whom? The 20th century students. 21वीं सदी के स्टूडेंट्स की को पढ़ाई लिखाई 19वीं सदी से शुरू हो रही. That is the trouble what Indian system, education system faces. You know, sitting in front of the board, writing and making notes. Likewise, we have one topic like making of notes. Okay, that will be helpful to you when you go to universities or any other higher level of education. But that's an important one. But making of notes is not sufficient for us. You know, but that is why we have many lapses in education. We wonder how we need to face these things. And it satirizes the lapses in the education system. The story was translated into English by Madan Gopal. I mean, it has been translated by Madan Gopal. The narrator is younger than his elder brother. So that we have a narrator here, the first character, and elder brother. And that means the narrator is a younger, isn't it? Let's see. So the narrator is younger than his elder brother by 5 years old. I mean, 5 years he is younger. He is fond of playing. He studies only when necessary, yet he passes in examination with distinction. So what does the younger one, the narrator does? He is 5 years younger than his elder brother. And he's fond of playing, I mean, sports. Likewise, he studies only when it is necessary, and he passes with distinction. The elder brother takes his studies very seriously. Now the elder brother, the second character, he takes the studies very seriously. You know what happens? He works late into the night, yet he routinely fails in examination and is detained in the same class. That is the thing. He takes his studies seriously yet again. He works very hard, works late into the night, but yet in routinely he fails in an examination and he is detained in the same class. He is not even promoted because he has failed in an examination. As a result, while the elder brother is in the 9th class, the younger brother reaches the 8th class. As the elder brother was in the 9th class, the younger brother reaches to the 8th. Whenever the elder brother sees the younger brother play, he admonishes, I mean, he learns him and harangues him on the need to work hard. He admonishes him and harangues him means he gives a long lectures on studies. Who? The elder brother gives the long lectures to the younger brother. But at the end of the story, we find that the elder brother cannot control his own strong desire to play. The younger brother takes the elder brother's sermons in the right spirit. He does not mock his brother's failures, though the elder brother fails in examinations. His sense of responsibility, his persuasive skills, and his respect for parents make him a remarkable character. So in the end, what happens? The elder brother realizes and takes the sermons of the right spirit of the younger brother, and he started playing. Though the elder brother fails in an examination, his sense of responsibility and his perseverance, skills, and his respect for parents make him a remarkable character. That is the three most important things that has been described here. What is that? Sense of responsibility. That's an important one. If you are allowed to play, if you are allowed to go and enjoy yourself, explore the world, you should not forget your sense of responsibility. Second, his perceptive skills. Perceptive skills means the skills what Allah has given, what God has given to us, we should stick to it. Some people, they are very found, they have the what we call the ego or proud of their skills what God has given. You know, if it is the case, then that is the downfall of that particular person. And some students, they do very extraordinarily in the mathematics, but they are overconfident about that, and they play or they go and play, but they forget to practice. This cannot. You need to balance both the things. First is sense of responsibility, that you are a student and you have to have this examination cracked. Second, thing is perceptive skills and his respect for parents. Respect for parents is also important. Today, these days, what I see that students, they do not respect their parents. That's a very dark side of our society, and dark side of being a Muslim also. You know, in Islam we have many rules and regulations. We are forced or compelled, whatever you take it as granted, but we need to respect our parents, which with which we have come into this world, and we are so strong to face the difficulties of this, because this world doesn't have any gratitude towards you. This world doesn't show you the gratitudeness, the politeness, the softness what parents could. Okay, so you need to respect this. So these three things, though the elder brother fails in examination, but these three things make him a remarkable character. You know, see, now we have two things in this lesson. There are two sides of the coin. One, the elder brother, he always fails in examination, isn't it? Yet again he fails. Yet again he works hard. He works hard in at nights. Likewise, he tries to write an examination, but yet again he fails, and he was written in the same class. And the other side, the younger brother, he is fond of playing, and he, whenever it is necessary, he studies and he passes with distinction. This is one side of the coin. The other side, the growth and development, the success of the elder brother is mentioned, not the younger brother. See, the younger brother is fond of playing and he studies whenever it is necessary, and he passes with distinction. But the elder brother, he fails. Yet again, he works hard, but he fails. But the other side of the coin is that he has three good qualities: that the sense of responsibility, that being an elder, I have to work hard. You know, it will be a role model to the younger one who are in the family. And the बड़ा घर का अच्छा हो गया तो फिर छोटे उसको follow कर लेते हुए जाते. That is the thing what we say in the common lower middle class or middle class family, isn't it? Second, perceptive skills. You know, the skills what you have given, the natural skills what you have, you need to fix to, you have to identify that. If you fail, you know, everyone has given a specific skill from Allah. That is what I believe. Everyone has got that skill. But if you use the skills in a wrong way, you're going to land in trouble, my dear. And if you identify the skill and with sense of responsibility, if you use the perceptive skills, definitely with the respect of the parents, definitely you're going to develop in this, and you're going to rock and roll in this world. That is the other side of the coin of this story. You might have read in the different way that the elder brother fails and the younger brother passes, and whenever the time comes, you need to work hard and you have to pass in an examination. That is not the moral of the story, beta. That is not the moral of the story. We started with the question that if someone, I mean elder, constantly nags you to study and study and study, you know, at the time the revolting महाराणा प्रताप निकल जाते हैं अंदर से, या फिर थोड़े लोगों के पास सलाउद्दीन अय्यूबी भी निकल जाते हैं, मैं पढ़ता हूँ. This is the thing what people say. I mean the students say, मेरे से नहीं हो सकता, I cannot do it. No, that is not the thing. You need to. You could. You have those particular perceptive skills with you, what Allah has given to you, but you haven't identified that because of the reasons what you have: environmental effect, the social life what you maintain, and the inner personality that मैं कर सकता हूँ कि नहीं, मैं कर सकता हूँ कि नहीं. Leave these things aside. Leave these things aside. The three things, there are many better. There are many, factors of growth and development, but we are dealing with the three things. That sense of responsibility. Today, we are unaware of the responsibilities what lies on our shoulder. You know, an average, I'm dealing with the students who are 16 or 17 or 18 years old. 16, 17 या 18 साल के बच्चों से मैं डील कर रहा हूँ. They do not know the responsibility what lies on their shoulders. They haven't planned. थोड़े जने ऐसे कि मैं करूँ क्या? I have taken BPC, I have taken MPC, but मैं करूँ क्या? मैं डॉक्टर बन जाऊं बिकॉज मेरा फ्रेंड डॉक्टर बन रहा, मैं इंजीनियरिंग करूं बिकॉज मेरे खानदान में बहुत सारे इंजीनियर्स नहीं है, मैं इंजीनियर बन जाऊं तो, या इंजीनियर्स हैं मैं इसीलिए मैं भी इंजीनियरिंग कर लेता हूं. They are blind in their thought. Remember, thought without action and action without thought. The first lesson, we could drag that exactly over here. I'm dealing with the teenagers, what we call in the psychology, like the teenagers. These teenagers, they do not have that particular, clean way of thinking ability. I'm not going to teach you the how that what to think. I am trying you to tell how to think. क्या क्या सोच लेना है वो नहीं है, सोचना कैसा है, that is important. That is important. And 16, at the age of 16, if you are unable to think about yourself, think about your personality. अगर आप 16, 17, 18 साल के बावजूद भी आपके बारे में, if you're not keeping yourself on the right track or updated, then you are living in a dark side of the society, like we call it them as illiterate. We can call them illiterate, or not illiterate. Ignorance is the right word, or ignorant. Not ignorance, it is ignorant or ignorancy. So I hope you might have understood that how and what are those factors which are going to affect these days in us. And in this corona crisis, I have seen one advertisement many weeks ago that it was given by an MNC multinational company, that the candidates needed, freshers, those who have passed in 2018, candidates who have passed in the pandemic, that is corona pandemic, please do not apply for this job, because there were no examination. You were passed in an examination without writing, without facing that examination, without giving that examination, you were passed. And the MNCs, they demand not to apply. Where to go? Where to go, these students? What happens to them? Isn't it? That's an important one. So I hope you might have understood the main model of the lesson. Okay, the story. Let's see the story. My elder brother is 5 years old than I, but is only 3 classes ahead. He had started schooling about the same age as I had, but it seemed that he did not want to hurry in the matter of studies. He believed in putting a sound foundation for his edifice, and therefore spent 2 years instead of 1 in each class. My age is 9 years. He is 14. So the narrator is 9 and the elder is 14. The fact that he came into the world earlier has given me almost the birthright to boss over me and to look after my welfare. And I am expected to consider his commands as law. So the elder brother, being an elder, he used to rule the younger one. And the younger says that, in fact, he came into the world earlier, has given him almost the birthright to boss over me, to rule over me and give commands, and to consider his command as a law. My elder brother is a studious type. One seldom sees him without a book. The only time he rests his brain is perhaps when he is drawing pictures of sparrows, dogs, and cats on the margin of his books. Sometimes he writes meaningless sentences on them or repeats a name 10 times. I always wonder why he does that, but never can summon enough courage to ask him. After all, he is the 9th class and I am in the 6th. So the elder brother was in the 9th. And the younger one was on the 6th class. He's 9 years of age and he's 14 years old. And I always wonder why he does that, but never summon enough courage to ask him. So I think the lines are very simple. You're following that. After all, he is the 9th class and I am only in the 6th. Even to try to fathom the meaning of what he writes would be considered impertinence on my part. It is very difficult for the younger brother to identify and understand what the elder brother has written in his books. I can never put my heart into my studies for long. I know the younger one is telling about himself. To read continuously, even for an hour, is an ordeal for me. At the first opportunity, I try to get out into the playing fields, but the joy of the play is always marred by my brother. I mean, is stopped by my brother. The moment I return, he asks, "Where have you been?" I never can answer back and say that I was out playing, and my silence is taken as a proof of my guilt. My brother starts his usual playing, and my brother starts his usual elder brother's lecture. Someone is still mentioning. And if you study English like this, my boy, you will take a whole lifetime to learn it. It is not as easy as you think. If it were easy to learn English, everyone would learn it. It needs all your sweat and your toil. Look at me. Have you ever seen me going out? I devote all my time to my studies. And even then, it has taken me 2 to 3 years to get through a class. You, with your habits, will never be able to pass. If you are, I mean, these are the words and sentences of the elder brother to the younger brother when he finds him guilty that he went for playing. If you are so fond of playing, and why don't you go home and play? Why waste father's hard-earned money? That was the gratitude. I mean, in the last one, parents, respect for parents. You know, we have studied respect for parents, or the sense of responsibility. Sense of responsibility is an important one. You have been sitting here because your parent paid, and Alhamdulillah, Shaheen teaches everything what is needed or required for the student in order to crack all those examinations, that NEET or JW, whatever it may be. But Shaheen is an ideal one, and your parents have paid us, and you are sitting in front of those so-called cameras and wanted to study and that. But you have to keep this sense of responsibility and respect to parents. You know. And that is why the elder brother is telling to the younger one that you need to go through, and you should not waste the father's hard earned money. The same thing lies you all also, my dear. Sometimes I start weeping at his rebuke. I mean, ताने तिशने देने के बाद थोड़ा उनको तकलीफ हो रही, किसको younger rebuke. So he starts weeping at his rebuke. Sometimes I even wonder if he isn't right after all about my wasting father's hard-earned money. Sometimes it leads to a resolve to mend my ways. A fresh timetable is drawn up and time is allocated to each subject according to its importance. But drawing up a timetable is quite different from working to it. You know, drawing it of a timetable is very different, quite different from working to it. Some people, थोड़े लोग बहुत timetable बना लेते, बड़े-बड़े. I mean, I will wake up early in the morning, they will write it. Then I will offer namaz, then I will recite Quran, then I will study physics, then I will study chemistry, or whatever it may be, the mathematics problems, or likewise. But working on it is very difficult. Making timetable is easier, but working on it is a difficult one. That is that is what the younger brother is thinking about that. I mean, the 9-year-old boy. Within a couple of days, an enthusiasm wears off and the old habit of playing takes hold of me again. The refreshing open air, the green fields, and the feeling of being alive and independent, which the fields always inspired in me, is irresistible. And this starts afresh the cycle of my brother's advice and rebuke. And the result, it is that I try to avoid even his shadow. Even my entry into the room we share is made as noiselessly as possible so that I may not attract his attention. So that was the fear of the younger brother regarding his elder brother, that whenever he enters into his room, what they shares made so as noiselessly as possible so that I may not attract his attention. That was and आज के दिन में क्या हो रहा, वालिद साहब सो रहे हैं तो भी धनाधन अंदर आ जा रहे. See, the difference is how that happens. The examination came around. My brother failed, but I passed. See, not only did I pass, but was placed in the first division. Now there is a difference of only 2 classes between us. I nearly felt like going and telling him what I thought of him and his lectures, but he was so crestfallen, heartbroken. इतना गम, sorrow, deep sorrow. You know, when you come across a result and you feel and you face that you have failed in spite of working hard, then you will be crestfallen. Okay, that I felt ashamed of myself for even having thought of such a thing. The examination results were so encouraging that I started devoting more time to playing. One day when I returned home, Okay, some students were messaging. Anyhow, so he says that one day when I returned after spending particularly the whole morning out, he called me and said, I see that your success in the examination has turned your head. But let me warn you that the pride destroys one. It has brought down even the mightiest of monarchs of to their knees. Think of Raman. Have you learned any lessons from his life? You obviously have not. The mere passing of the examination is not enough, my boy. One must learn lessons from his story. Ravan was a powerful king, so powerful indeed that even the gods were afraid of him. Power turned him his head, and he started considering himself greater than even God Almighty. And look what his pride did to him. It brought him to a most ignominious end. I mean, a fatal end. The same fate has befallen many others who were proud like him. You have only had one success so far, and think no end of yourself. But mark my words, one success can be a chance occurrence, a mere fluke. Just as a stray shot does not make a good marksman, similarly a stray success does not mean that you are so clever that you will pass whether you study or not. Don't think that just because I have failed I have no right to tell you all this. I know, in spite of having a failed in an examination, elder brother, again started giving like long lectures to the younger one that this is not the only success and it is not the end, my dear. And he has given the example of the Raman likewise. Let's see what he says. When you come to my class, you will know how difficult it is to get through history. It is not easy even to remember the names of those English kings. There have been dozens of Henrys and scores of Williams. It is a regular rigmarole. Rigmarole. Okay, there must be an accurate or acute shortage of names among these richest people that they invented this square system of first, second, third, etc. To differentiate between their kings, it is not no joke to remember what even took. So, anyhow, excuse me. So he says that, and the moment you write Henry the eighth instead of Henry the seventh, you can rest assured that you will not get even a single mark. And geometry, oh, geometry is really a devil of a subject. The difficulties, the problems of the elder brother is mentioning here. The references is, after all, if you write ACB instead of ABC, you have had it. I want to ask these examiners what the difference is after all, or is the intention only to make us learning things by heart verbatim? You know, verbing. Conover is the actual word in English for this. Rattamaro. When I used to hear the teachers who teach in the school, particularly fifth and sixth or primary or primary, they tell the students to by heart the things. And in that, I wonder how come the children by heart? How can we do the by heart? That the actual word is gone over. Okay. Anyhow, inshallah, tomorrow we will see the remaining lessons, part of the lesson. Okay. Take care.